Hello whiskey lovers and welcome to another one of Mark's Whiskey Ramblings. Today I want to talk to you about the Auchentoshan Three Wood. I know, I keep coming back to Auchentoshan, but hey, I am the Toshan man. I'll make it short and simple though. The Three Wood has been around for 15 years now. It was first introduced in 2002 and then it looked like this with the what I call the temple label, because the label resembles a little bit of an Indian temple, more or less. But then it was revamped in 2008 and then it looked like this with a new shape of bottle and a new label. But a few years ago the labels were a bit modernized as well, and now the label actually shows 3 casks to reflect what the name Auchentoshan Three Wood actually means. And the Three Wood is exactly that. It is a single malt from Auchentoshan, triple distilled, that has matured or finished at least on 3 different types of casks. First it was matured for 10 years on regular bourbon casks, but then it was recast into oloroso sherry casks, so the Spanish sherry, where it slept for another 12 months. But then finally it was recast again into that very, very lovely Pedro Jimenez sherry casks. Pedro Jimenez is of course what we call the king of sherry. It is a sherry that is produced by drying grapes in the Spanish sun, and that results into this thick, oily, very sweet sherry indeed. And that kind of explains why this Auchentoshan Three Wood has this beautiful rich bronze color and a high viscosity. It really clings to the glass and is very oily. So the Auchentoshan Three Wood, bourbon, oloroso, Pedro Jimenez. There we go. Short and sweet. This is bottled, if I'm not mistaken, at 43%. I am not mistaken. 43%, so basically a little higher than the standard 40%. But this is one of the first ever released non-age statement whiskies by Auchentoshan, already 15 years ago. So Auchentoshan Three Wood on the nose. It's not a deep sherry, but the sherry influence is unmistakable because this is very sweet and succulent. It has a hint of espresso, but mostly I get some oranges, blood oranges even, some dark chocolate, some nuts. There's clearly a hint of plums in there, but this is very sweet and very inviting. If sherry matured whiskey is your thing, then this is really something for you. On the palate then. Very oily indeed. A bit spicy. I get some cinnamon, I get some cloves, but again it's mostly on oranges, plums, some chocolate nuts, a little bit of marzipan, but it is clearly very sherry influenced and very lovely. On the finish then. The finish is medium long, it remains sweet and spicy, lingers quite a bit, and it's got this lovely bitter touch of the wood, making this a very balanced dram indeed. Auchentoshan Three Wood, like I said, if a sherry finished or a sherry matured whiskey, or a whiskey that has a big sherry influence is your thing, then you cannot go wrong with the Auchentoshan Three Wood. Now I have to be honest, the older batches, there was quite some batch variation there. I've had quite a few of these that were absolutely stunning, but I've also had quite a few that were too bitter, too harsh, too unbalanced, a little bit rough. But nowadays they really know how to do things, and the Three Wood nowadays is really a go-to dram if you love whiskey with a sherry influence. Now the reason why there is so much batch variation obviously has to do with the fact that the sherry casks are nowadays not easy to come by, so the quality of the end product is actually related directly to the quality of the sherry casks. So if you happen to have a cask that is a bit off, then it will reflect in the final product. But nowadays they have beautiful casks and they created this Three Wood that is an absolutely stunning whiskey. And that's all for this Whiskey Rambling, and I hope to see you at one of Mark's Whiskey Ramblings real soon. And until then, may the malt be with you. Bye bye.